start now, Trent?
I'm paying you so you can bring in your intro. Go ahead now.
WOVU LP Cleveland.
WOVU 95.9 FM, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Her in the Huddle, WOVU's Look at Sports, featuring the First Lady of Sports, Rachel Hill.
All right, what's up? This is your girl, Rachel Hill, and welcome to WOVU 95.9 FM. This is the First Lady of Sports, and I am super excited. So we're going to have a great show today. You just finished listening to the sounds of Eric Nolan. Mr. Nolan, it is a wonderful day in the city. It is a Monday.
I know it is.
Yesterday the game did not go the way that us Cleveland Browns fans wanted the game to go. But how do you feel? Because I know you're about to get out of here. But how did you feel about everything that you just saw?
I love I really love the game. The game itself. I mean, you can see where it's a different Browns team. It's just that, those mistakes were very costly, especially to a team against like the Kansas City Chiefs. You just cannot make those type of mistakes. You can't, right?
Absolutely, you're absolutely correct. One of the things that I observed though was that you made these mistakes, but for the majority of the game, you dominated the whole game. You controlled the pace, you controlled the flow, the tempo. You could get whatever you wanted. You could get anything you wanted against this team, and you got it.
Right.
But for a few miscues that happened later down the line, later down the stretch in the fourth quarter when it kind of mattered, and Kansas City was able to capitalize off of those turnovers. I said it was 3 turnovers. Technically, there's only 2 turnovers that count. I said that it was 3 turnovers because of the punt that happened with Jamie Gillian. When you make those type of mistakes, there was no coming back from what Jamie Gillian was able to, what he did. Right. When you had the turnover with Nick Chubb, who fumbled, who rarely ever fumbles, they were able to hold Kansas City to a field goal. So you didn't pay with 7 to 8 points. You only paid with 3. But then at the end of the game, when Baker unfortunately threw the interception, that really signified. But at the end of the game, they had a chance to win the game. They had a chance to win it. They had almost 2 minutes left. They had an opportunity to win the game, and they just didn't.
Right.
So I am not as mad as I normally would be. I look at, they say moral victories. I don't believe that. When you're an athlete, you either win or you lose, and that's that. And then you go home and you digest, and hopefully you learn something from that loss, and then you can fix that because you're going to see this team again. Or maybe not. Maybe you had a blueprint where you showed some other teams how to beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, yes. And then to what you said, maybe you did show other teams how to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. But at the same time, I think you got a chance to see the Browns, and they now take in mind, those players didn't really have a game to play, right? They didn't play in the preseason, really. Mm-hmm. They played a quarter and a half, right? Mm-hmm. So they got a chance to get a chemistry, and you can see the chemistry. So the take that I got, I still say to this day, the Browns will lose maybe 3 games, 4 times. That's what I think.
I had 14-3 as well.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I say.
And I had the Kansas City game I predicted this with Marshawn. You met Marshawn. I said that the Browns were going to win 34-30. I flip-flopped the score, and I was almost there.
You was almost there.
34-30, flip-flopped the score. And Cleveland Kate is here with us. Cleveland Kate, how are you?
How do you think I am? This weekend was the worst. The worst.
You said what?
This whole weekend was terrible.
But Cleveland Kate. Well, yeah, it was. We even got to Ohio State. We gonna hit them later on in the show.
the Guardians or whatever we're calling the baseball team got no-no'd again. I'm like, I can't take another weekend like this, Rachel.
I know. These weekends are rare, though, Kate. We've been very, very spoiled. So weekends such as this, in which Ohio State loses, we kind of got used to Cleveland Browns losing during the weekend. But with Ohio State, we are not used to that. We're going to be playing in the Old Navy Skinny Jeans Bowl from here on out. So, there's no college football playoff for us because our schedule is super duper weak. We play Akron. Like, who scheduled them? Like, seriously? Like, I really have an issue. I see you, Nate. You said you were 1 point off, 33-30 the Chiefs. So we were very close, Kate. I don't know if I told you my score prediction going into the game. I had 34-30 Browns, and it ended up being 33-29 Chiefs. So I was close. I just
Okay. Let's go back. I don't have a problem with the Buckeyes playing a team like Akron, but I would like them to play Akron the same week everyone else in the Big Ten is playing nobody. Because only 2 teams in the Big Ten played somebody this week. Michigan played Washington, and we played Oregon, and everybody else played nobody. Rutgers and Maryland both won. All right. If we're gonna play nobody, schedule needs to be set up so we're all playing nobody the same week. We all get our easy win. Because next week we'll get a win, and then all the other teams will lose to somebody who's really good. So let's even that out a little bit, okay?
Yeah, it's very unfortunate what happened with Ohio State. I was kind of angry and upset by that. I kind of had a busy week, so I let it go. But once we had that loss, you saw that the college football playoff was going to be gone because there's zero margin for error when it comes to the college football playoff. And granted, you did lose to a top 15 team who is now ranked. What they move up to 5 or 4 after beating us?
Yeah, they were 12. I mean, it's the first week of the season, right? Everybody can lose a game. If I'm going to lose one, I'm going to lose it in week 1 or 2. I don't want to lose it in week like 10 or 11 because you can't bounce back from that. We've got a whole year now to put something together. My problem is that defense needs a whole lot of help. A whole lot of help.
Yeah, they do.
I think it's probably for the best that my expectations have been lowered and that I'm kind of looking forward to getting tickets to the Old Navy Skinny Jeans Bowl because that's about where we belong if this defense is going to be trash all year.
I don't want to go to the Old Navy Skinny Jeans Bowl because it's sad. But yeah, the defense, this is not the Silver Bullets defense that we're accustomed to. They pretty much had no answers for the Oregon offense. And we always know that the Oregon offense has kind of been a high flying, high passage, pro style offense. And Ohio State just had no answers. They struggled last week as well against Minnesota. They were able to reel it in, but this week I wasn't able to see all of the game. I saw probably about a quarter. With the defense, they're just not going to be able to get it done. And you look at some of those defenders were back from that thrashing that we took against Alabama. So our defense has struggled since last year. Yes, we were fortunate to make it to the CFP, but we got our butts whooped, against, a fortified offense. So, seeing Oregon come in into the shoe. This is their first home loss, opening loss in 26 years.
We didn't get our butts kicked. It was a 7-point loss, but you don't give up 35 points to anybody. I don't want them giving up 35 points to anyone the whole rest of the season. I'm concerned with recruiting. And did Ryan Day spend too much time focusing on offense that he thought the defense would be okay? And you just said it wasn't okay last year. It needed some help this year. So I'm a little concerned that they may not be able to right that part of the ship.
So, yeah, you see that now the schedule gets a little bit easier because they played the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes on Saturday. That should be a sleeper for you. Then they play Akron September 25th. I can't believe somebody put that on the schedule. That's ridiculous. Then they get more into the Big Ten.
Akron's got bills to pay. They will take a check.
I know. Yeah, I would take $1 million. It's probably $2 million now because it was $1 million about 10 years ago. So it's probably about $2 million as well. Yeah, I'm gonna take that check.
Well, that was before Appalachian State did that number on Michigan a couple years. Well, God, that was quite a few years back now. I'm aging myself. Then these schools started charging a little bit more money.
But Ohio State has no business playing against Akron.
The team that played Saturday does. If they're going to play that way against Akron, then Akron has every right to be in that same thing.
Should we be scared?
I'm going to see what they do in Tulsa. let's just go 1 week at a time, right? Let's see what happens in Tulsa. We'll see if I can get through, a Saturday. What makes me sad, Rachel, is we waited months and months and months and months for the Browns, for them to get their chance at the Chiefs. So when the Buckeyes lost Saturday, I wouldn't even care. I wasn't even worried about it. I was like, all right, whatever. People are slamming me all over social media because I'm a Buckeye honk. I'm like, whatever. I got my Browns tomorrow. I'll be fine. I did not have my Browns on Sunday. I have my Browns for 3/4 on Sunday. I did not have them for a whole game. My emotional sports bank is overdrawn right now.
We need you, Cleveland. We need you.
I'm getting over. I need 24 hours. It ain't been 24 hours yet. That was a 4:25 kickoff yesterday.
I tried to smack her.
I need 24. Don't smack me, girl. I'll hit back.
I tried.
24 hours.
Get it together, Cleveland Kate.
Get my head right.
Get it together, Cleveland Kate. You'll be okay. We need you. We need you. We need you more now than ever.
I'm gonna need a break. Is what I'm gonna need.
You got the juice.
DJ Chris Styles took a break, and he's happy. Maybe I need to take a break.
DJ Chris Styles is happy that Ohio State lost. That's the first thing he said. Yeah, he a Michigan fan of all places. So yeah, he gets a little happy. Nah, he from here, but he be talking about that Pittsburgh crap too. I don't know what's wrong with him.
He's just contrary. He just likes to say stuff like that to get me and you aggravated, and it works every time.
Yeah, man, because I don't play about my Buckeyes. But one game that is on the schedule that worries me is going to be that Penn State game. And Penn State right now, I don't know what their ranking is. I got to look that up. But Penn State, Michigan, and then Purdue. Sometimes Purdue is a trap game for Ohio State. So that game can always be problematic because we've had to have some plays against Purdue that, is our season is on the line. Holy Buckeye. The play with Kenny Guyton, with that one that he had to come from behind.
Yeah, so, but I will say Wisconsin has given us a harder time in the past. I don't think there'll be a problem this year.
We don't got Wisconsin on our schedule.
But yeah, so the Buckeyes dropped to, if I'm reading this right, number 9. Oregon rose up to 4. Penn State's 10. So hell, Iowa's 5. That's the first time I can remember Iowa being ranked above the Buckeyes in football. Basketball, fine, but not football. We'll see. Clemson's only coming in at 6, so we'll see. It's been a weird. They're 1-1 as
they
well.
Look terrible, man. They didn't even score a touchdown against Georgia. Just get them out of the top 15, please. I'm like, just want to keep Clemson there, and Clemson is going to lose some more games this season.
I know.
It's inevitable.
Cincinnati's 2-0. They're sitting there at 8, so I'd like to play the Bearcats this year. I think that'd be a fun game. We'll see. It's early. I'm not freaking out yet.
Somebody said to me that Ohio State should allow Luke Fickell to stay, but I said they didn't want to give Luke Fickell time to build a program because Ohio State is always in a win-now mode, so they weren't going to give him time to build that program and actually lose
I'm not
a
a Fickell fan. I'm not a Fickell fan, so to speak. I like Ryan Day. I don't like their defense, but we'll see how that goes. But I like Ryan Day. I got no problem with Ryan Day. We'll see how it goes.
I don't either, but that was just what somebody said, and it made me think.
In Jacksonville, coaching Sunshine, that he don't want to be in the NFL anymore. He may come back.
USC got an opening today.
Again?
Yeah, and supposedly that was a job Urban Meyer wanted, but he took that job in Jacksonville because it hadn't opened up yet.
I don't know why he'd want to go to USC. I don't think he wants to have to sit in the living rooms and talk to moms and dads and try to recruit anymore. He just wants to play with whoever the front office gives him, and he'll be fine.
Well, I'm really sick of him saying that he has issues to leave a program and then pop up somewhere else. And they say as a college football team, my college football team was one of the teams that pulled the upset. Which one was that, Nate? It's going to appear. But yeah, so at the end of the day, I think the season is, I hate to be like this. I think the season is over for the Buckeyes.
And you know what? That's fine, because theoretically we have Sundays. We have the Browns on Sundays, right?
Yeah.
We'll get man. We can't have many more weekends like this. And the baseball season's almost over. I don't think I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna knock on some wood. I don't know that the Indians can be no hit again for the rest of the year. That's just a little too much. They don't have enough games left to get no hit again. We'll see. We'll see how the Cleveland baseball team does when they finish the season.
Well, it's almost
they'll come back as the Guardians, and we'll
2
start
weeks.
to figure out how to do that. And
yeah, they had a record with that no. So my sister tags me on a post on Facebook, And I'm trying to find it now. And she says, "Are the Browns really good?" And I guess I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever, so I haven't seen that.
Ohio State lost.
Shut up, DJ Chris Styles. Walk yourself back to your booth where you belong. Go.
Ohio State lost.
Go. Get to stepping. Don't make me come down there, young man. I will do it. You know I will do it.
I see she out there working out and everything on vacation, came back. I'll watch it. I was internet stalking.
Go, Kate. I see those muscles. Get it, girl.
I got my guns going. I'll take you out back, sir.
Are we going to just talk 3 minutes on Ohio State, or are you going to have a whole? Because if Ohio State would have won, it'd been a whole 45-minute show. So I'm asking, are we going to talk about Ohio State and that loss?
We talked about them. They lost. That defense is trash. They're going to get invited to the Old Navy Skinny Jeans Bowl. Or it could be the new White Women Weaves Bowl. I hear that's a thing.
The what? What bowl?
White Women Weaves.
Those Cheetos, Doritos, Cheetos.
Cool Ranch.
With Planters Peanut Bowl.
The Cheetos
flaming.
There will be, listen.
Flaming
Here's the problem.
Cheetos Bowl.
They will be okay. They're going to be okay. The defense is not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about the quarterback position. I'm worried about the pressure that if they lose one more game, they're going to blame it on CJ and not the defense. And they're going to pressure the young boy to get in the game. I'm telling you right now.
Points. You put up more than 21 points in any football.
Listen,
I should be able to win
I know
a game.
that.
Defense should be able to stop them. That's a coaching thing, Ryan. I'll have
but defense we failed to stop people for the last 3 years. That ain't nothing new.
Well, no, that ain't nothing new. But we're going to Tulsa and then Akron. We should get a couple wins here the next 2 weeks. I am worried. I'm more worried about my Browns team, sir.
The Browns are all right. They'll be cool.
You say that,
Except
but
Joe
I have to listen to everybody go,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we have a lead in the fourth quarter. Here's where we blow
Get
it
Joe
down.
Woods.
Here's where the other shoe drops. Here's where all the Browns being Browns crap happens. I'm so sick of this.
It's Joe Woods. It's Joe Woods.
Woods.
It's Joe Woods. That defense didn't make a stop. We didn't get a stop or create a turnover.
They did not. And the other thing that I will say is, people talked about, we haven't really played a game and they were rusty and they needed to get some stuff under. They started out just fine. If you ask me, the Chiefs were the ones who started out a little rusty. And by the fourth quarter, they figured it out. And they were making plays in the fourth quarter that they weren't making in the beginning of the game. So you got to play all 4 quarters, right? They're not going to just call it. And with the way we run the ball, they should have been able to run that damn clock out that fourth quarter, and they should have never got caught. So they have to figure out how to do that. You can't take your foot off the gas.
No, I don't even think they took it off gas. We didn't make a stop. We didn't make stops when needed to be made stops. Kansas City scored 23 points in the second half. We only scored 7, and their defense made stops. Like no matter when they made it, they made the stops.
They did, and I still need someone to explain to me how the Scottish Hammer, Mr. Gillen, muffed that snap. I mean, he had it in his hands. I don't understand what happened. I watched it 20 times. I still can't figure out why he ain't kicked that ball.
If he was with the Patriots, he would have been cut already with Bill Belichick. Just know that.
Well, yeah. But they lost to the Dolphins this weekend. That's a shameful thing that New England fans have to carry with them, is losing to the Dolphins. So, on the Patriots.
Yeah, they probably shouldn't have got rid of Cam, but we shall see. So we're going to have to take a really quick break, Cleveland Kate. We're going to be right back listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
This is DJ Fatty Banks.
Dr. Vanessa K. Jones, Alicia Graves,
Jordan Lucius. This is Miss V on your radio, and you're listening to the best community radio station in the land. WOVU, our voices united, 959 FM.
Oh, really?
I'm Celeste Terry, Grant Manager at the United Black Fund of Greater Cleveland. The United Black Fund is a 40-year-old organization created by African Americans to fund nonprofits in the Black community. If you are a nonprofit organization seeking funding, please register for our LOI meeting Friday, September 17th at 10 a.m. via Zoom for 2021-2022 funding. Now, LOI means Letter of Inquiry. Our funding categories are basic needs, education, workforce development, and social justice. Does your program make an impact? Does it solve an issue in the community you serve? Does it help change people's lives? Then learn about the LOI. It is the first step in our grant application process. Visit our website at www.unitedblackfund.org or email me at cterry@unitedblackfund.org. And you spell that C-T as in Tom, E-R-R-Y. I look forward to seeing you so that you can learn about getting grants from the United Black Fund of Greater Cleveland.
This message is brought to you by the United Black Fund of Greater Cleveland and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Welcome back.
All right, welcome back. This is your girl Rachel Hill, her in the huddle, WOVU 95.9 FM. Now, always remember you can listen to us online at WOVU.org. You can always download that WOVU app so you can take us on the go, and we're always taking your phone calls at 216-271-0959 in case you want to join in the conversation. Cleveland Kate, very quickly, because we are going to have a guest from Kansas City, Sam Robinson of Yahoo Sports, talk a little.
Do I have to be nice to him?
He's
nice and polite and everything.
Actually, he's a really good guy. So I consider him a friend. So, he can't help you from Kansas City, but he's always been very complimentary to Cleveland teams because he actually did live here in Cleveland and actually worked for the Plain Dealer. So Cleveland is like a second at home for him. So he's always very complimentary of Cleveland teams. But before the Cleveland baseball team, their season is about to end and they will be known as the Cleveland Guardians. But they just were no-no'd for the third time this season, which is a record for the franchise. It's ugly. It's not pretty. They got outscored by the Milwaukee Brewers so badly. The Milwaukee Brewers are one of the best baseball teams in baseball, but Aaron Savali got rocked for almost about 10 runs the other day, and they pretty much got swept by them. So, Cleveland Kate, what are you looking forward to as we start to transition into the next season? What are you looking forward to? Because this season right now is just a wash. They're just playing to play.
I'm just looking forward to the season being over. I can't take it anymore. It's not even good baseball. They're not even just a little bit. We made a lot of excuses for them, Rachel, early on when they were having injuries, when we were losing pitchers, when we didn't know who was going to be healthy enough to step on the mound, when we were worried about the bullpen and all that kind of stuff. It's beyond that. When you're getting no, that has nothing to do with your pitching. And we have no-hit teams whose pitchers are not that good either. This offense is a hot mess, and I don't even know where to begin. I mean, it's got to be something with the coaching, right? You lost Tito for the season because of health reasons, and I just don't know if the rest of the coaches, if they just mentally gave up on the season at that point. But, you want fans to pay money to come down and watch you play. I'm going to need you to hit a ball. I'm going to need you to play fundamental baseball. I'm going to need you to make an out. I'm going to need you to not make errors. I'm going to need you to call a fly ball when it's coming at you, not have three of you like the Stooges banging into each other in the field. I think we all need a break. We all need to mentally reset the season. I will tell you that on my bold prediction, I will be very surprised if Tito comes back next year. I've got this feeling in my gut, like I don't know who's going to take over as manager, but I feel like Tito's done.
I think Tito's done too. And hello from the U.S. We just had somebody say hello from Norway. Hello from the U.S.
Well, hello from Norway.
At this point, the health issues, as soon as he came off the hip surgery and was able to walk with his hip again, he had his foot done. So people think the consensus is he's going to try to come back, given the time in which he's had the surgeries, enough time to heal and be ready for, Grapefruit League play or Cactus League play. They're thinking that he's trying to be ready in that time. But I just think it's time for him to go ahead and retire because he said everything hurts and everything is hard. He's like, he can't even bend down to tie his shoes. How are you going to manage a baseball team for 156 games? So I think it's just time for Tito to hang it up, whether or not they choose DeMarlo. I don't know. But Cleveland K, I do feel as if you can use the injury excuse for this season. Normally, I would say no, but even the manager is hurt. Everybody hurt on this team. Even the manager is hurt.
That don't have anything to do with you swinging a bat and hitting a ball.
Yeah, but you gotta.
Yeah, but nothing, girl. Nothing. No, don't make excuses. If I'm losing, if I'm putting up 4 or 5 runs and I'm still losing because my pitching is trash, then okay, that's fine. But we're not even hitting the ball. We're not even getting to first base.
They struggled with that all year because they got outscored 26-4 over against
cheerleaders on prom night. Let more guys get to first base than our team does. I'm just saying, it's ridiculous. Was that a little rude for community radio? I'm just very frustrated. I'm very frustrated because I didn't expect the Indians to win it all. I didn't even know if we could win the division. I just expected to be able to go out and enjoy some beautiful summer weather this year, to go out and watch a ball game after COVID and last year and not being able to go anywhere. I think I've been in the press box for 2 games all year. I haven't even wanted to sit there to watch a game. You and I haven't been to a game together. I got to sit with Nat both times I was there. You and I haven't even been to a game together because I don't think either one of us feels a burning need to sit through the agony that is 9 innings of Cleveland baseball right now.
Yeah, people don't realize how tough the baseball grind is, having games every day. It's a lot, especially if you don't cover the team for a living and, you are covering them. So it's just different schedule-wise, and it's a lot, 156 games, and they play almost every day. So right now the Cleveland baseball team is off today, and they need that. But, yeah, they're pretty much done at the end of the season. Pretty much they have 2 weeks left. But somebody was asking me, when do they need to get down to a game? And I'm like, pretty much now, because the season is about to be over. So you want to get down for that, have fun.
You see George spouting the knowledge at us right here. And shout out to Nathaniel in the chat room. Big BYU fan. They had a nice update this weekend. An upset this weekend.
Yeah, George said, amazing Wahoo stat. No hit 3 times, and Zach Plesac lost all 3 games he pitched on now.
Which shouldn't be relevant, and yet it kind of says whatever it is you need to know about this whole Cleveland baseball season, right?
He was like, I don't know why this keeps happening to me.
I know. I feel bad. Oh, we got a Kansas City boy in the house.
Sam. Hey, man. Hey, Sam. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
Good. Sam Robinson from Yahoo Sports. All right. So I had to warn Cleveland Kate, Sam, that you were a nice guy. Because she was like, do I got to get on him? I'm like, no, Cleveland Kate. I'm like, he's actually a good guy. I was like, Cleveland is like a second home for him. And he's very complimentary, and he roots for Cleveland teams. So I'm like, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. So we have Sam Robinson from Yahoo Sportszone with us today in live from Kansas City.
Yard Barker Sports also.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem.
Yes, Yard Barker on Yahoo
You're right,
Sports.
Rachel.
So appreciate having him, and writer extraordinaire and all that other stuff that you do. Welcome, man. Good to have you back on again. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So what is being digested there in Kansas City from yesterday's win against the Browns?
I don't know. I guess I'm still processing it, myself. Mostly the talk around here, I guess, has been the return of the fans, which a little dicey to me, but everybody seems to be doing it. So we got, that seems to be that was being discussed a lot, the catalyst for the punt disaster, and just basically the Chiefs rally in general.
Yeah, the rally in general. Is nobody looking at for the 3 quarters that the Browns had their way with this team, and that this team, the Cleveland Browns, controlled the pace, the flow, and all that regarding the game, and pretty much got whatever they wanted to offensively?
Should be that should be being discussed. The Browns have as complete a 1 through 22 in the league, other than Tampa. So, and it was a good time to catch the Chiefs. They didn't have their second or third best defenders, and the Browns didn't have OBJ or Wills for the most part. But it was and the Chiefs were playing with 3 first-time O linemen, so that was a little bit of a disadvantage. But that should be being discussed more. Yeah, the Browns seem to kind of close the gap a little bit, which should be concerning for a Chiefs team that's really dependent on its otherworldly passing game.
Yeah.
Well, Rachel, I'm sure Chiefs fans are the same as Browns fans. It's all about what have you done for me lately? And lately is usually the last 2 minutes or the fourth quarter. And so Browns fans are ignoring, how well they played quarters 1, 2, and 3. And all they're doing today is screaming that Baker's trash and he needs to go. And that they're just, because that's how we do, right? We're going to throw everything out because we're going to ignore those 3 good quarters. And in Kansas City, they're going to ignore the fact that Myles Garrett had a free pass at Mahomes just about any time he wanted. Because, dude, your left tackle is sad.
He's
sad. Oh,
I didn't agree too much with giving a first round pick for, I guess, what amounted to a second round pick because the Ravens had some swaps. But for Orlando Brown, when he blocked in a pretty run heavy offense, and now he's blocking in one of the pass heaviest offenses outside of Buffalo. So. That's not a good matchup. Myles Garrett clearly won that one, and Brown allowing 5 pressures was the second most of his career. So not a good start for that trade. And he's one of the veterans because they also had 3 rookies on the O-line. But
But ultimately it doesn't matter, right? Because the only stat that matters is the win and loss, and y'all found a way to get it done. It looked like the defense just got fired up. And just got all kinds of pressure on us in that fourth quarter. I do credit the crowd noise with some of it, but it just looked like they had shaken off whatever rust they had. Because I don't think your ones played a lot in the preseason. Ours didn't. And so that was really they stayed close enough in the game to be able to catch us in that fourth quarter. And Mahomes did what he does. There's no lead safe against him when he's on his game. And all you can do is sit back and watch it happen to you and wonder where did that bus come from that just ran me over.
Mahomes has become, his comebacks are so commonplace that it just, because this one kind of paled in comparison to the ones in the 19 playoffs, but it's just these things just happen. It's so hard to bury this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 75-yard one. You kind of, as a Browns fan, I just was like, gosh,
well, I didn't expect it because I figured they'd try to kill some clock, right? You're not going to go for it all on the first play of when you get the possession because you still need to get the ball back and we're running really well. And I'm like, why wouldn't you, work your way down a little bit? And they were just like, bam. So apparently it's a good thing I'm not the defensive coordinator for the Browns because I didn't see that coming either.
Chiefs, the Browns and Chiefs running games, there's such a huge gap between them. The Chiefs really haven't rediscovered it since Kareem Hunt's odd exit from town. So,
and thank you for him, by the way.
They're passing,
we love him here.
Kareem Hunt is he's one of the greatest backup running backs this side of Bo Jackson. He's one of the greatest I've ever seen. The Browns' backfield is historically lethal. So that's a notable gap, I think, between the two teams. So the Chiefs, they don't even really try to kill clock that much. Their clock killing is kind of short passes to Kelsey or, short passes to Hill. So I guess I wasn't super surprised they tried to go for it right there.
Yeah, because they left us with plenty of time to win the game, surprisingly. Anybody talk, and George brings up a great point. One thing that a lot of people kind of hadn't been talking about today was about what happened with the coach pushing on Ronnie Harrison and Ronnie Harrison being ejected. And it doesn't appear that it's going to go any further than the game yet, unless I haven't heard about any fines being handed down or anything like that.
There'll be a fine.
There should be.
Wait, Thursdays, I think there will be a fine.
Yeah.
How much is going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, but what about y'all coaches not being able to have self-control, but you preach self-control and discipline to your players?
Excellent point. I completely agree with you. That kind of reminded me of that thing at the end of that Steelers-Bengals playoff game when Joey Porter ran onto the field, and it wasn't that bad, but you can't just go shoving a player first. I don't agree with what Harrison did either, but it was instinct.
Well, and I have no issue with Harrison getting ejected. You don't put your hands on a non-combatant, right? As someone who's not wearing pads and a helmet, you don't put your hands on him. But I just think they both should have gotten in trouble. And it was weird watching it happen because it looked like the referees were at first going to call unsportsmanlike conduct against Kansas City, and then they huddled up. So and then all of a sudden it's a penalty on us and we're ejected. And it's like, well, can we both be in trouble, please? Because they were both wrong. And we need to both be in trouble. And I just would have liked that to be a little more fair, but I don't think anyone in Cleveland argues Harrison's ejection. There were a few who thought the offense should be greater than what it was to get ejected. Like, maybe taking your helmet off and hitting someone with it is probably an ejection. But my point is still, he didn't shove up another player in pad and helmets. He shoved somebody who you shouldn't put your hands on, a referee, a coach, a trainer, anybody who's not, suited up. You can't put your hands on him, and you have to know that at some level. So I can't disagree with his ejection.
That hurt the Browns too. They were already without Delpit, so the Browns have a really interesting 3 safety look they're going to try to deploy this year, and having one of those is really bad against one of the greatest deep threats in NFL history.
Yeah,
for
sure.
And this was at pretty much the start at the game. So Ronnie Harrison also can't lose his temper like that. You have to keep your head in the game. This is an important game. This is only the first game of the season, and that there's a possibility that you could be facing this team later on for something greater. But, Ronnie has to control himself too. And we know that that's not something that Kevin Stefanski coaches. They coaches discipline and all those other things. So I was kind of surprised to see that, because that incident you talked about kind of fell under the other regime, and then the coach wore a shirt saying that Pittsburgh started it. So that type of stuff was allowed under that other regime. But, Kevin Stefanski don't play around like that. So
I wish I could have been on the plane or the bus or whatever it was that maybe Harrison wasn't even allowed to travel home with the team, because I'd have made him walk. Me, Rachel, I'm mean like that. I'd have made him walk home from wherever we were. I would have loved to hear the conversation Kevin had with him. Yeah, I imagine it was just a whole lot of glaring, maybe not a lot of words. I don't know. But I do know he ain't putting up with that. Whatever the NFL does to him as far as a fine is nothing compared to what coach is going to do to him when he gets back here.
Yeah, but they love and respect Kevin Stefanski, so I'm sure that whatever he said is going to have some impact. And he's more of a talker to me, I think, than, and disappointing him is the worst thing you could ever do. Is not what you did.
Like with your parents, like
exactly.
Parents, my mom was like that, man. She didn't even have to yell at me. She just had to give me that look.
Yeah.
And that face. And I was crying, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't. I'm like, I'm beating myself up, and she didn't have to say anything. And I wonder if Kevin's that kind of a coach. If Stefanski just has to give him that look, and then they're all, I didn't mean to, coach. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. I'll go run laps, and I'll go do some burpees, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, but you let your teammates down because they needed you. Yeah, they truly needed you in this game. So I think if anything, he feels the impact of that, because this is a game that they could have won. They was, a play or two away. So I think that he, is going to feel that. You guys, we got to take a quick break really quickly, okay? But we're going to be right back. We got Sam Robinson on this with Yahoo Sports, Yahoo Yard Barker, correct?
Correct.
Yard Barker and Cleveland Cake. So we'll be right back. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM.
Say to you is that I see you. I know what it feels like to carry stress, pain, to feel alone, that you're in this alone. But know and understand that I see you. And at the end of the day, it is okay to not be okay.
This message of hope is from the Alcohol, Drug, Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board of Cuyahoga County, the Suicide Prevention Coalition, and WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Hi, I'm Lawrence Daniel Caswell, Field Coordinator for Cleveland Documenters and a member of the Neighbor Up Network. Cleveland Documenters trains and pays Cleveland residents just like you to document government meetings in Cleveland and Cuyahoga County. We then share our coverage with the public to help make our government more accessible and more accountable. Search our listings for upcoming meetings and our coverage of Cleveland City Council, RTA, and other local public meetings at cleveland.documenters.org. That's cleveland.documenters.org. Also, do you want to learn more about local government? Maybe pick up some writing or journalism skills, or maybe you want to connect and build with a community of civic-minded Clevelanders. Then sign up to become a Cleveland Documenter. Get paid to document local government meetings and keep the public better informed. Sign up and register for our September 21st orientation at cleveland.documenters.org. That's cleveland.documenters.org. Cleveland Documenters, powered by Neighbor Up.
This is brought to you by Cleveland Documenters and WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Welcome back to Her in the Hub.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle, WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I'm here with my ride or die, Miss Cleveland Kate, and then we are also here with our special guest, Sam Robinson of Yard Barker at Yahoo, and he is live from Kansas City, the dreaded enemy right now. So we were talking a little bit of Browns versus Kansas City and talking about the victory that almost was and was snatched out of our hands. So Cleveland Kate, I was trying to tell you, my sister had that she sent me a meme and it says from I guess Guardians of the Galaxy and this Thanos dude or whatever, the big-headed dude.
Yes.
But the little girl, the green girl, y'all know who that is? So she said, are the Browns finally good? And Thanos says yes. And she said, what did it cost? And he said, Ohio State.
I will pay that price. I will pay that price for losing every single game on the Buckeye schedule if my Browns can win the NFC North. I don't even need to go to the Super Bowl. I will pay that price to win the NFC North. Right now, we are behind the Cincinnati Bengals in the standings, and that is completely unacceptable. That is it cannot happen. It cannot continue. No.
Sam, where does Kansas City got this win, but I feel like a lot of things were exposed. I mean, the amount of yardage that the Browns accumulated, Kansas City almost gave up close to 500 yards, so 457 yards compared to 397. Pretty much they converted on fourth down, so 3 out of 4 on fourth down conversions, which is a healthy amount, especially on fourth down. Kevin Stefanski went for it almost every time. Where does Kansas City go from here? Because I'm like, is it a possibility that they maybe not even make the AFC title game?
I mean, of course it's a possibility. It's just the Chiefs have one of the highest floors, and I can remember it's a Patriots level floor because they proved again on Sunday. It's hard to beat these guys, and it's just weird because the Browns really have a more complete team. Like 1 through 22, the Browns are better. It's just Chiefs 1 through 5 are better than anybody else's in football, maybe Tampa Bay. But it's just the Chiefs also they're going to have to deal with the Chargers. Home field disadvantage notwithstanding, they're really improved, and Denver is improved. So they might get a couple extra losses tagged on them because the second half of last season, while they went 14-1 with the starters, they kind of got tagged a little bit. They won a lot of one-score games. I want to say like 7 of their last 8 wins in the regular season were one-score.
About 6 points or less.
It's just a lot to put on Patrick, especially with the loss. I mean, I don't even want to say loss because Sammy Watkins didn't contribute too much around here, but the loss of him, the Chiefs really have 2 pass catchers, and they still don't really know what they have in Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the running back. Ever since Kareem left, they just have kind of taken that for granted. And the Browns, they didn't expose that, but just the Browns having Chubb and Hunt is just an eye-opener compared to what the Chiefs used to have. And they're one-dimensional, but it's one of the greatest dimensions in NFL history.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that they have the better tight end.
Yeah, and it should be easy to stop. You know what they're going to do. They're not going to run it, and yet we can't stop it. So, I don't know.
Would we say Tyreek Hill is the better receiver of the 2 teams?
Of the 2 teams? You mean of the Browns and the Chiefs?
Yeah, because, I mean, the Chiefs have the better tight end. They have the better quarterback.
As controversial as Tyreek Hill is, and I am not a Tyreek Hill fan, he is arguably the best receiver in the NFL. So
okay, all right, I'll let you have that.
When he says their 1 through 5 is the best in the NFL, I don't disagree. I think they're better than Tampa Bay as well. But I think if the offensive line was a little better, that would be a lot more obvious to people. Tampa Bay gets a lot of benefit from a defense that gives them really good field position. And from their offensive line. But I just look, I'm in 3 fantasy leagues and looking at players that went in the first round. You had Mahomes, Kelsey, and Hill going early in all my drafts. Best players at their position and a big enough gap that I'm willing to wait on a second running back if I can get Kelsey, as I'm snaking around or whatever. So, I mean, I think that's just going to be the challenge, is trying to figure out how to take those weapons out. And it wasn't just last year. It was the year before. I think they won 10 games by 7 points or less. I mean, it's the way they play, but I never feel when I'm watching them like it's a nail biter. It could go either way. I feel like they've got a lead and they let people get a little close, but there's always that threat of an explosion that you don't get that feeling that we live with here of, oh, this is going to all go bad. You're like, just wait. One pass, 75 yards, we'll be 7 points ahead again. I mean, it's just the comfort. It must be comforting to know that.
It is different
you can do
compared
that.
to it's different compared to the 30 some years before that, or not even 30, like 50 some years before that, before my time, about just the Chiefs, the quarterback jump that they made from 17 to 18 from Smith to Mahomes. It's almost indescribable. Like you said, it's the Browns kind of have to play like a regular team, a very well built regular team, whereas the Chiefs have this strange advantage where, like you said, comebacks just they don't seem too daunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about our defense, Kate? We didn't really get a chance to touch on that. I know you and Chris Styles went back and forth, but and Sam, you can weigh in on this too. But the zone defense that we played, how we got lit up, so we were able to let Kansas City 1 through 5 expose that defense, because I thought that this was supposed to be a better defense, but this defense looked like the defense of last year. And John Jones?
John Johnson.
John Johnson, excuse me, was like, it's not my job not to let somebody get behind me. So I don't know what happened on that play with that coverage, but we just got exposed in that zone, and it was just awful. And you just knew that almost every pass play, Patrick Mahomes was going to be able to hit his receiver because of the zone that we were playing.
Well, I think injuries have hurt us in the secondary. We don't have the guys out there that we thought we would have out there for week 1. And I think they focused a lot on the defensive line, on how they were going to get Clowney and Garrett in there at the same time, what they were going to do, how that whole sharing of the load and the workload on, are you edge rushing? Are you pass rushing? Are you, stopping the run? What are you doing? I think they worked on that, figuring that we had improved from a personnel standpoint as far as the safety position goes. And then our corners can't stay healthy. And I think it just caught them off guard, and they played more zone than they would have liked to have played. I envision a lot more man-to-man by the time we get to week 5 or 6, if we get some of these guys back healthy, because we've got some speed in our secondary. If we can just get them out of the, off the bikes, so to speak, and back into an actual game. I'm tired of seeing the bicycle brigade, and it's my secondary.
But can we talk about that knockdown that Denzel Ward had? Was it against Tyreek Hill? That was clutch.
It was, and it was so nice to see, girl. I have not been happy with Denzel since he left Ohio State, and it was so nice to see him coming back this year and starting to make me feel like he's healthy and he's going to live up to his potential, because last year I was a little aggravated with him.
Well, we know that there's still the potential that he's not going to play about 3 to 4 games. We already know that that's coming. But that knockdown that he had was the potential, was a huge defensive defensive stand for him, because that was going to be a play for a huge yardage, and that could have been a momentum.
Last year he would have done that, but he would have had his hands in the wrong place, and it would have been a penalty.
Or
he seems to have improved on his mechanics and where his body needs to be positioned and where his hands need to be that quick to make sure he's not getting the penalty. And that was a prime example of that yesterday, that he's done his homework this offseason.
So did Andy Reid outsmart Kevin Stefanski again? Or outcoach?
No, I don't think it was the matter of that. It was just a couple mistakes. It was this game was closer. No, I don't think that happened. I think the Browns, like I said, how the Chiefs' quarterback improvement was so drastic. The Browns made a huge coaching leap. I think Stefanski obviously is, one of the best you guys have had in your lifetime. So
true that. Absolutely true. No, football games are a marathon, not a sprint. We were sprinting our way through, and then we tripped over a couple things on the way down, and they took advantage of it. I don't think that it's necessarily outsmarting, but I do think it's veteran presence, veteran mentality, a coach who's been in the league long enough to know not to freak out when you're down by 9 points in the fourth quarter, and to just let your guys do what they do and keep everybody focused. And that's just like I said, a veteran coaching thing. Kevin will get better at that as the years go on.
I liked how Kevin did the 3 4th downs in the first half were really impressive. Like he clearly watched, Mahomes just devour the league the last 3 years. It's just the Bills played super conservative against Mahomes in the playoffs. Like I just kept watching them go for these sub 40-yard field goals on 4th and medium. That's not how you beat the Chiefs. And then they paid for it when Reed, Mahomes, Kelsey Hill just marched down the field and made them pay. So yeah, that was really impressive to see Stefanski, doing that to try to get that lead, and it worked. The Browns were in the best possible position they could have been.
Yeah, there's 2 very important things that you have to do if you want to beat the Chiefs. You need to not settle for field goals. You got to get touchdowns.
Yeah,
and you need to not let Pat Mahomes put his hands on the ball. Because every time he touches it, something going to happen. So he tried to do that. I love that he went for 2 after that touchdown. I'm like, then let's do it. Let's go for 2. Let's not even kick the ball. We shouldn't have punted. That was the end of it. We shouldn't even punted. We should have just tried for it on 4th down again. I don't care if it was 4th and 16 or whatever it was, because we still would have had better defensive field position than where they ended up with it when he fumbled that snap. But classic blunders, right?
And and plus the Browns are going to be in better. I mean, like I said, how the Chiefs have those 3 rookie linemen. The Browns defense, they have, when they go in nickel, they could have 9 new starters from last season. So that's going to be really different come November than it is now. The Browns are probably going to be a better defense going forward.
Yeah, and then the Kansas City made the needed adjustments that they did in halftime. They did make some adjustments, but also nobody really talks about that drive that Kansas City had in the 3rd quarter, which ate up all that clock. They ate up almost 8 minutes, so it wasn't much that the Browns could really do in that 3rd quarter. I think they did score, though. I think we did score in the 3rd quarter.
We did. We scored in every quarter but the 4th, I believe.
But, man, they ate up so much clock, so they didn't get a lot of time. And still have to hang us with a few minutes left on the show, or do you got to go?
I'm good for a few more.
Okay, we got to go to break.
Talk about the Royals at all? We can talk about the sporting if you want. I'll talk soccer.
We got to get this final break right in, so we'll be right back. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
Can you believe it's that time again? Fall is on its way. Right around the corner is Sweetest Day, and we have a sweet treat for you. EDB Productions presents The Intruders, Saturday, October 9th at the Front Stage Multiplex in Cleveland Heights, 3492 Mayfield Road at Severance Town Center. The show begins at 8 p.m. with host DJ McDuff and Cleveland's own Triple Exposure. For more information, call 216-331-0024 or call 216-401-9815. You don't want to miss this epic event. The Intruders, live at the Front Stage Multiplex, 3492 Mayfield Road in Cleveland Heights, Saturday, October 9th. Brought to you by EDB Productions and WOVU 95.9 FM. Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
Hey Cleveland, you can now listen to one of the hottest radio stations on your phone. Yes, that's right. WOVU 95.9 FM has a new mobile app, and did I mention that it's free? You can download our app in Google Play or in the Apple Store. Just type in WOVU 95.9 FM. Now you don't have to stay in that hot car trying to catch every beat. You can listen to us while you're getting ready for work, while you're making dinner, or while you're winding down after a long day of work. What are you waiting for? Go ahead and download our app right now, and make sure you keep it locked on WOVU 95.9 FM.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
Rachel, I got breaking news.
All right, breaking news. Welcome back to Her in the Huddle. What's up, Cleveland Kate?
Ohio State safety Josh Proctor is out for the rest of the season.
Oh, gosh. What happened?
Well, he got hurt Saturday. He fractured, and they had to do surgery. I think he fractured his leg.
Oh, that's not good.
His right leg. So the fracture was bad enough that they had to do surgery, and they've already said he's done for the season at safety. So
Okay.
Apparently that's someone else I've sacrificed for the Browns to win some games. So we're good. We're good.
Just for the AFC North title, not even for the AFC title.
Just the AFC North. I just want the AFC North.
Oh yeah, we were
small goals, baby steps.
We were supposed to talk about them a little bit. Okay, so we got a few minutes left. AFC North teams: Pittsburgh beat Buffalo, kind of, and dominate them towards the end. Should we be scared of Pittsburgh at all?
Quarterback to quarterback, I think Baker now has a little bit of an edge, and just offensively, I just think the Browns are way more complete. And once they realize it, especially once OBJ comes back, I don't know. I don't think Pittsburgh's
I still can't figure out how Pittsburgh got past the Bills. I'm flabbergasted.
I am surprised too. And while I said the Chiefs refused to establish the run, the Bills are just chucking it completely. They don't even have the personnel the Chiefs do. So I'm really surprised that the ex-Chiefs OC Brian Daboll's just whatever. We're just going to let Josh throw it 55 times.
Yeah. And then who else played yesterday?
We get to the Bengals. We get to watch the Ravens and the Raiders tonight. Is that who's playing?
Yes. And
I kind of like the Raiders this year. I'm kind of looking at them to give Kansas City a run for their money in that division.
They did beat the Chiefs in Kansas City last year. I just don't like the moves. I don't like the moves they made on the offensive line, but the Raiders under Gruden have quietly generated very competent offense, and Derek Carr has made some strides in the shadows a little bit, even though Gruden as a personnel man undermines Gruden the coach. So I just don't know what to make of what they're doing.
They better have made gains. You pay him $10 million a year. They better have made some gains. So I'm playing fantasy, you guys, for the first time ever. Somebody badgered me into doing it.
Who's your quarterback?
My quarterback is Kyler Murray.
Oh.
What did you wait till the 7th round to get one?
No, I did auto draft. So I didn't pick anybody.
You're admitting in public you did an auto draft?
I got Josh Allen and Kyler Murray later as my backup. Somebody want to trade me. I'm going to get a steep price for Kyler as my backup.
Wow, you guys got these sexy quarterbacks. I'm like, hey, Russell Wilson. All right, okay.
Hey, didn't he have 5 touchdowns yesterday?
Yes, Russell Wilson, rushing yards and touchdown passes. Fantasy success.
Yeah, so
Kyler is where
Burrow came back for Cincinnati. They played Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah,
and they actually won a game in overtime. I was happy for him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
They won't win 4 games this year, but start the season off nice. I got them with 4 wins.
That's right. That sounds almost exactly right.
The Bengals?
Yeah.
4 wins this season?
Yes.
I don't really.
Did I stutter?
I think they could top out at 6 maybe, but there's just too many problems with, 1, how that organization operates, and 2, just their offensive line is a mess again.
Oh, and you would have thought that they would have.
It's early in the year, and defenses don't know what to do quite yet with a healthy Burrow because he didn't have that many games in before he got hurt, and it's going to take him a couple weeks to figure it out. I think that's why Minnesota lost to them. 4 wins. I'm not worried about them.
I root for Joe Burrow.
Baltimore scares me just because they're in our head. They have free real estate in the head of every Cleveland Brown and Cleveland fan, and we just let them live there rent free. So they scare me a little bit. Even with all they can't keep a healthy running back. I guess with Lamar Jackson, you don't need one, right?
Yeah, but the thing
is, on IR and cut them and whatevs.
What scares me though is that Lamar knows that they're down running backs and he's going to run more, which the Browns struggled with that as well. They always struggle against them. So,
but we don't play them for a couple months now, so he'll probably
hurt
himself.
Ravens are losing bodies. They're starting to remind me of San Francisco last year,
right?
Right? And they already were down receivers. That's going to be a lot to ask of Lamar to lift that team. I like the Browns better than the Ravens this year.
Yeah, it was a player. I can't remember who it was, but he had some broken cartilage in his kneecap. And I said that that is going to be microfracture surgery. So somebody's down already, gone for the season. But you guys, this is our time. Sam, I want to thank you so much for taking time out to be with us. Cleveland Kate, as always, you and me, we get it going on Mondays.
Do we have time to ask Sam where people can find you? Where can they read you? Are you on the social media somewhere we can follow you?
S. Robinson 25. I'm just so bad at Twitter. You should. I'm okay, but yardbarker.com is my primary work outlet. currently. So I have a couple other websites, but yardbarker.com is the one I would talk about most of the NFL.
All right. Thanks, Sam. Thank you, Cleveland.
Thank you for having me, Rachel.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime. You always have an open invite to get in the huddle with us. And you guys have been listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We are out of here.
Cleveland.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Rachel.
I'll see y'all later.
Bye. Nice to meet you, Kate.